Hello everyone, welcome to our Tuesday Live at noon. I'm excited to be here, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that is so important because we all at some point are going to retire, right? Who here is looking to work for the rest of their lives? Raise your hands. I know I'm not. So if you're someone who's saying to yourself, I don't want to work for the rest of my life, what does that mean? That means you really have to have a strategy that's going to help you plan for your retirement. And that strategy has to do with your career. The decisions that you make today as a career professional will shape at what age you retire and how much money you have in your account so you can peacefully retire, right? And so today I'm going to be covering a lot of different aspects of what are some of the things that you need to be thinking about, or what are some mistakes that you can avoid so that you retire at an age that you can actually enjoy the rest of your life. And so here's some stats that I'm going to throw at you. The U.S. says that the average person, a male, retires at the age of 65 and a female retires around the age of 62. And the next stat is that from that age you have another 20 years to live. Okay, so that's great to know. But in those 20 years, how is your health going to be? Right? Are you going to be in the best health where you can go travel, where you can go do activities and really enjoy your life? Is that possible? For some, it may be. But you do have to think about that today. Whether you are a person that's just entered the workforce, you are a person in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, the decisions you're going to make today, the interviews you go for, the jobs that you select, the amount of salary that you accept directly impacts at what age you're going to retire. So if you're here with me, here are the questions that I want you to ask yourself. So please grab a pen and piece of paper, because this is going to be active training that I want each of you to participate in. One of the first things that we're going to do together is going to be a little bit of math, but I think it should be easy enough math for all of us to handle. How old are you today? I don't need to know that, but go ahead and write that down on a piece of paper. How old are you today? Question 1. Question 2, how much do you make? I don't need to know that. You just write it down, all right? Question number 2. Question number 3, at what age do you want to retire? Again, like I said, the average age of retirement for a male is 65 and for a female is 62. So how old are you right now, today? How much do you make? And at what age do you want to retire? So if you have a pen and piece of paper, please write that down. You need to be looking at these numbers when you're thinking about your career strategy. It is key to your success. Number 4. How much do you need to retire? I always say to people, you need to calculate your assets, whether those are your skill assets or they are your monetary assets. You do want to take a moment and say, what are my assets and what is going to be their value at the age that I want to retire? And how much money am I going to have? That could include your IRA, your 401k, whatever else, other kind of investment accounts that you have. Is that going to be enough for you to retire? And if you don't have any assets, are you going to be working with a financial planner to create one? And I do want to put a disclaimer here. I'm not a financial planner. What I'm going to be talking to you today about is for you to really give you the motivation to realize that your actions today can potentially impact your retirement. Organizations don't talk about this. A lot of companies don't talk about this. Most people just say contribute this much and you have, maybe your 401k screen that shows you at what age you'll be ready. But what about for someone who is switching jobs? What about for someone that was laid off? What do those individuals do? What about individuals who used to make in 6 figures and today they make less than 6 figures and they can't meet their retirement numbers? So there are situations that can throw us off. We can plan a lot of times all we want, but we also need to have our contingency plans in place. And so now that you have written down these questions, right? Here's the math that I want you to do. I want you to take how old you are today, right? And take the number of how old you want to be when you want to retire. So take that the latter number, take what age you want to retire at, minus it how old you are today. Okay, so the big number minus the little number. That's going to equal the number of years that you are going to be working. Okay, so for me, I'm 40. I want to retire at 50, maybe 55, but let's just say 50. So 50 minus 40 equals 10. So I have 10 more working years to earn top dollar, to then retire with maybe about $20,000 a month. And again, you have to look at, your lifestyle. Are you someone who likes to travel? Are you someone who likes to eat at fancy restaurants? Who are you? What do you like to do, right? So for me, that's 10 years. That means in the next 10 years, I better be making good money so that I can retire at 50 and enjoy my life. Because the way I think about it, if I'm going to retire at 65, what's my quality of life going to be from a travel perspective, from enjoying my children, my grandchildren, and all of that? These are things people don't talk about, right? These are things where we avoid. These are conversations we avoid having with ourselves, but you can't. For a career professional to be successful, these are some of the stresses that you have to get out on a piece of paper, understand what your numbers and your metrics are so that you can plan accordingly. So if this is making you feel uncomfortable, then you're in the right place. Because uncomfortable is where we start, and we take that uncomfortableness and we look it right in the eye and we say, I know this makes me uncomfortable, but I'm going to have a plan here. I don't have this many years, and and the next step that I'm going to take will be in ensuring that I am successful in retiring and that I have enough money to retire, with a peace of mind and with me being happy. Comment for me, because I just want to see anyone who, to this point, have you thought about how your career strategy aligns with your retirement? Have you thought about that? So if you haven't, I'm going to be talking about 5 different types of situations that you could potentially be in and how to plan for those. Number 1, you may have a job hopper. There are individuals, and this is absolutely okay, to go from one job to another job. My recommendation is that at least stay at a job for 2 years before you go to the next one. But some individuals are contractors. They go from one project to another project, and that's okay. However, you need to, if you work from a 1099 or corp to corp perspective, and I'm going to have an entire different webinar next week on that. What does it mean to be hired as 1099 or W-2 or corp to corp? But if you are a job hopper, my recommendation to you would be to set up a separate account for your 401k, for your IRA, and that you immediately talk to a financial specialist and ensure that you both together understand your tax situation and what it means from transferring your 401ks into a private account, so you don't have to worry about going from one company to another company, closing that 401k, opening a new one. That's a headache. No one wants that. And here's another stat. 50% of 401ks get lost and they never ever get transferred to a new an account. So think about it this way. People leave money out there. It never gets accounted for, and they forget about their 401k accounts. So if you are a job hopper, work with a financial analyst to really have a solid plan in terms of creating an external account for yourself, right? And the other part of it is job hopper or 1099, right? Part of it is, again, are you charging the right rate? What rate are you currently charging hourly that covers your taxes and your planning for retirement? A lot of career professionals don't think about that. So what you see out there is individuals who get really excited when they get these hourly rates that are super high, and then they're like, "Oh, this is a whole lot of money," but that's supposed to be money for insurance, 401k, and for PTO time. If you're a pit stopper, what does that mean? If you're someone who is a parent who had to stop working for a little bit, and you had a gap in your employment, how do you then utilize that gap or show that gap on your resume so you can get your next job? But again, getting your next job without selling yourself short. I see so many career professionals making the mistake of having a large gap and then going back into the job market and saying, "Oh, I've had this gap, therefore I'm going to go ahead and accept $30,000, $40,000 less." People do this all the time. But know that when you accept that $30,000 to $40,000 less a year, what you're doing is it's taking money out from your retirement. Because you didn't know how to negotiate and get yourself the right salary, you're now out of pocket $30,000 a year that you could have utilized towards your retirement so that you could retire early. There's nothing wrong with retiring early. There's nothing wrong with retiring from a corporation and then starting your own business and being a consultant. But how do you do that? How do you charge the rate that goes from being an employer to a consultant? Then you have the career changers. If you have ever been a career changer, then here's what you have to consider here. A career changer is someone who changes industries. They go from the IT industry to marketing. They go from marketing industry to construction. They go from construction industry to government contracting. And that hurts them more than they realize. Because the misconnection here is this. There's almost this emotional disconnect between career professionals and their retirement. Again, the question you want to ask yourself is, at what age do you want to retire? And if you are a career hopper, are you getting the salary that you deserve? And if you're under negotiating yourself, what does that mean to your retirement? Do you see how people don't connect it that way? And individuals work forever. They're in their 50s, they're in their early 60s, and all of a sudden they're making $50,000 a year, they're making $75,000 a year, where at that age, you're a subject matter expert. You should be charging $300 to $400 an hour. The mistake is, they, as a career hopper, those individuals didn't create a niche for themselves. They didn't create an expertise for themselves. So what they ended up doing is they were always the underdog. They were always the individuals that said, "I'll take this opportunity because this industry seems exciting. I wasn't really enjoying myself in that previous job." We can have passions, but we can also have passions outside of our corporate jobs. I know our jobs aren't everything, but what I can tell you, our jobs, our careers are means to a certain level that we want to reach in our careers, in our lives, excuse me. So if you're someone who says, "I want to buy an investment property," and you haven't figured out your career strategy, and you don't have the right resume, you're not doing the right interviews, you're accepting salaries that are low, you're never going to be able to reach for you to buy that investment property so you can leave a legacy or leave money for your children and grandchildren. Every decision that you make today impacts generations of your families. Again, there isn't really anyone who ever teaches this. So this is all from experience. This is all from me really sitting down with myself to say, I'm staring at this cubicle wall, but for how long am I going to do that for? How long am I going to sit in front of my computer 8 hours a day and stare outside and see that it's sunny, but I can't go out? Right? And those are the questions that you truly have to ask yourself and say, what is it that I'm going to do today so that I can better prepare myself financially for the future? Again, this is uncomfortable. This is going to be uncomfortable for a lot of you guys. But it's okay to be uncomfortable. If you're getting anxiety, say why. Where is that anxiety coming from? Are there patterns in my family that I'm following? Journal it. Understand it. Don't avoid these conversations. Have the conversations with yourself. Create a plan. Have a financial planner. Understand how your career impacts your retirement. Understand that today when you under-negotiate yourself, you're taking money away from your retirement. Understand that when you undervalue yourself, you're undervaluing your life. Again, every decision you make today impacts the future you. So what decisions are you going to make today that are going to be a better version, a career professional that's an amazing version of you, who makes top dollar, who gets recognized in their network, and retires at an age where they can then become a subject matter expert and charge that consulting fee? And then you have the entrepreneur in us, right? I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a risk taker. I'm someone who always says, I believe in myself, I'm going to take the risk. And this is something I'll share with all of you. I started my first company 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I was working a corporate job, and the government was going through its budgeting, kind of what it's going through today. And they were saying that our contracts weren't going to get the funding they needed, and therefore everyone was going to be laid off. I was a mom of a baby at that time. He was about 6 or 7 months old, and I said, oh wow, I've put all my eggs in one basket. My 401ks with this company. I thought I was going to go through a career trajectory with this company, and I was going to get into management, and now I'm getting laid off, right? I was emotionally attached to this organization that all they thought about was their bottom line, right? Organizations do that. So if you're attached to the bottom line, if you're attached to an organization, remove that attachment. All they really care about is the bottom line. Are you profitable? Yes or no? Do you bring money for them? Yes or no? And when the moment you don't bring money for them, you're no longer needed and you're laid off. So you need to detach that emotion from the corporation, from it being the one and only in your life. You can have many. I'm here to tell you that. And so at that time, I said to myself, I've put all of my eggs in one basket, and here I am at this organization's mercy to lay me off. And I said, I'm going to start my own side business. Entrepreneur, right? Some of us have that entrepreneur in us. I started small consulting jobs that added to my retirement, guys. I, at that time, through failure, learned how to charge an hour, right? I charged less, and then I figured out how much I needed to charge for my knowledge, and I did that. And there were months that I would bring in $10,000. There are months where I would bring in $15,000 in addition to my paycheck. So what did I do, right? I didn't put all my eggs in the same basket. I strategically thought about this situation, being furloughed, being let go, being a mom. At that point, I don't think I had my second child yet. I was a single mom. Can a single mom afford to be laid off? No. So can you afford at this point to be laid off? If you're saying no to yourself, then what you need to do is have a solid plan, right? And so if you're an entrepreneur, have patience, but understand who you are as an entrepreneur. What is your offering? What are you going to bring to the table? What is the rate that you're going to charge? So that the rate that you charge, you can then have money put away in your 401k. Buy yourself life insurance. Buy yourself business insurance. Think things through. Right? Don't plan it so that you can find success. The last thing, number 5, is the loyalist. I have so many individuals who work for these big companies. I won't name them, but huge companies, and they've been there for 15, 20, 25 years, and that's where they're at, and that's where their 401k is, and the company has their salary at a set amount, and they get the 3 to 4%. If you have been at a company for more than 10 years, in this day and age, rethink it. Can you go somewhere else and double your salary? Can you take that experience that you've been there, as a loyalist, and start a side business and make money for yourself? Those are the questions you have to ask yourself, career professionals, if you want to excel in your career, if you want to truly retire at an age that you are going to be happy with and enjoy the rest of your life. No one wants to be looking at a cubicle for the rest of their lives and just being in meetings 8 hours a day. Not until you're 70, not until you're 80. What is your retirement age? I'm going to repeat the questions I asked at the beginning. How old are you today, right now? How much do you make? At what age do you want to retire? How much do you need to retire? Right? And do your subtraction. At what age do you want to retire minus how old you are today? Those are the number of years that you have to work. And in those years, how much money do you need in order to retire at the age that you want to retire? So I hope this training was useful, and I hope that you walked away with some solid strategies that you can use. Again, I always try to bring you authentic, true information so that things that no one else ever talks about. People write these in blogs, but no one ever says it straight and forward. If this made you feel uncomfortable, accept it. Accept uncomfortableness and ask yourself why it's making you feel uncomfortable and work through that and journal it. I'm here to support you. I'm here to make sure that you're successful. Thank you again for watching. And then next week, I'm going to be talking about 1099s, W-2s, and corp to corp, and what you need to know as a career professional in terms of being successful in whatever employment contract you get yourself in, so that you're not selling yourself short. Take care and have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye!